Why do so many people feel stuck, constantly chasing approval, validation, or opportunities, only to be left feeling frustrated and unfulfilled? If you've ever found yourself in this position, you're not alone. Far too many people fall into the trap of begging, not just in relationships, but in life itself. Begging for attention, for respect, or for someone to see your worth. But here's the brutal truth. Begging never works. It diminishes your value, weakens your position, and leaves you dependent on others to define your worth. Here's the problem. Most of us were taught that trying harder, giving more, and chasing relentlessly would get us what we want. But reality doesn't work that way. When you beg, you signal desperation, and desperation is repelling. So what if you could flip the script? What if you stopped begging and started building a life so fulfilling and powerful that you don't need to chase anything or anyone? The solution lies in becoming a high-value individual. High-value individuals don't ask for respect, they command it. They don't seek validation, they exude confidence. They don't chase after others, they focus on their growth, their purpose, and their potential. Imagine living in a way where your actions speak louder than words, where your presence is felt without effort, and where your worth is undeniable. But this transformation doesn't happen by accident. It requires a shift in mindset, a willingness to confront hard truths, and the discipline to make lasting changes. This isn't for the faint of heart. If you're looking for shortcuts or quick fixes, this isn't the video for you. But if you're ready to take control of your life and elevate yourself to the level of a high-value individual, then you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down the exact principles that separate high-value individuals from the rest. You'll discover the power of self-reliance, the importance of emotional strength, and the transformative impact of detachment and boundaries. By the end, you'll not only understand what it means to stop begging, you'll be ready to step into your full potential and build a life that commands respect and admiration. This isn't just about improving one area of your life. It's about redefining who you are and how you show up in the world. So let's get started. Watch closely, because this could be the wake-up call that changes everything. 1. The power of self-reliance. Think about the last time you asked for something, whether it was advice, assistance, or simply validation. Did you notice how the dynamic shifted? Suddenly you were in a position of need, while the other person held the power to fulfill or deny your request. It's subtle but undeniable. Relying on others, especially excessively, diminishes your standing. The more you depend on external sources for strength or solutions, the weaker your foundation becomes. This truth lies at the core of self-reliance, a principle that separates high-value individuals from those who struggle to find their footing. To understand the power of self-reliance, we first need to explore its opposite, dependency. Dependency isn't just about needing help occasionally, it's about building your life around the assumption that others will provide for you. How many times have you put off learning a new skill because someone else could do it for you? Or delayed solving a problem because you were waiting for advice? While it's normal to seek support, high-value individuals know the fine line between collaboration and dependence. Crossing that line places you at the mercy of others, a dangerous position in any relationship, career, or personal endeavor. Why is dependency so damaging? Because it creates a dynamic of inequality. When you need something from someone, whether it's emotional reassurance or professional guidance, you hand over a part of your control. The person on the other side decides whether or not to grant your request. Over time, this can chip away at your confidence and self-esteem, leaving you feeling powerless. Dependency also fosters resentment both in you and in those you rely on. The more you lean on others, the less respect they may have for your ability to stand on your own. But here's the good news. Breaking free from dependency is entirely within your power. It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Who can help me?" train yourself to ask, "What can I do to solve this?" This single question transforms your mindset from passive to proactive. You stop waiting for external solutions and start seeking internal ones. This isn't just a tactic, it's a practice, a way of living that prioritizes your autonomy and capability. The principles of Stoicism provide valuable guidance here. At its heart, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow stronger. Instead of fearing hardship, you welcome it as a chance to prove your resilience. Imagine approaching your problems not with desperation but with determination. Each obstacle becomes a stepping stone, each setback a lesson. This is the essence of self-reliance, knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you have the strength to handle it. But how do you cultivate this strength in practical terms? Start by identifying areas where you've been overly dependent. Perhaps you rely on a partner for emotional stability or a mentor for professional guidance. Maybe you turn to friends for constant reassurance or lean on colleagues to cover for your weaknesses. Once you've identified these patterns, take deliberate steps to address them. If you've been avoiding learning a particular skill, commit to mastering it. If you've been outsourcing your emotional well-being to someone else, focus on building your inner strength through reflection, journaling, or meditation. Self-reliance also requires a degree of discomfort. It's not easy to confront your limitations or take on challenges alone. But growth never comes from comfort. High-value individuals understand that the pain of struggle is far preferable to the pain of regret. When you push through discomfort, you emerge stronger, more capable, and less reliant on others. I think of the great leaders, innovators, and visionaries throughout history. Their defining trait wasn't their ability to ask for help. It was their determination to forge ahead, even when the odds were against them. This mindset is equally transformative in Stoic relationships. Dependency often erodes respect and attraction, leaving both partners feeling unfulfilled. A high-value partner doesn't beg for love, attention, or validation. Instead, they bring their full, independent selves to the relationship, enriching it without losing their individuality. This balance is key to creating connections built on mutual respect and admiration. When both individuals maintain their independence, the relationship becomes a partnership of equals rather than a dynamic of giver and taker. Another aspect of self-reliance is learning to trust yourself. This might sound simple, but it's one of the most challenging steps in breaking free from dependency. Many people doubt their ability to make the right decisions, so they constantly seek advice or validation. But every time you look outward for answers, you weaken your inner voice. Start small, make decisions without consulting anyone else, even for minor things like where to eat or how to handle a simple task. Over time, this practice builds confidence in your judgment, allowing you to trust yourself with bigger choices. It's also important to embrace failure as part of the process. High-value individuals don't fear failure because they see it as a teacher. When you rely on yourself, you'll inevitably stumble. But each failure is a lesson in resilience, teaching you what works and what doesn't. Over time, these lessons become the foundation of your strength. The next time you face a similar challenge, you'll be better equipped to handle it. No begging, no pleading, just action. Finally, self-reliance isn't about isolation. It's not about rejecting help or cutting yourself off from others. Instead, it's about choosing collaboration over dependency. When you're self-reliant, you can engage with others from a position of strength, not weakness. You're not asking for handouts, you're offering value in return. This shift not only improves your relationships, but also elevates your standing in the eyes of others. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and capability, just as they're repelled by neediness and desperation. So what's stopping you from embracing self-reliance today? Is it fear of failure? Lack of confidence? Whatever it is, know that the first step is within your control. By committing to personal growth and independence, you take back the power you've been giving away. You stop waiting for others to fix your problems and start solving them yourself. This isn't just about avoiding begging. It's about becoming the kind of person who never needs to. It's about stepping into your full potential and commanding respect, not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. And as you cultivate self-reliance, you'll find that the world responds to you differently. Opportunities come your way, relationships deepen, and your sense of self grows stronger than ever. The question is, are you ready to claim that power? Only you can answer. But know this, Self-reliance is the foundation of every high-value individual. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And it starts with a simple decision: to stop begging and start building. 2. Why begging erodes respect. Have you ever found yourself overextending to gain someone's approval? Maybe it was in a relationship where you kept giving, hoping to be noticed, or in a professional setting where you agreed to every demand just to feel indispensable. Now, take a moment and ask yourself, did it work? Did you gain the respect and recognition you craved, or did you feel even more invisible, maybe even used? The truth is, begging, whether for attention, approval, or opportunities, doesn't inspire admiration. It drains it. Begging is an act of desperation, and desperation is repelling. High-value individuals understand this on a fundamental level. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you command. The moment you start begging, you signal to the world that you lack the confidence to stand tall on your own. And respect, it vanishes in an instant. Why is this dynamic so universal? It's rooted in human psychology. People value what is scarce and hard to obtain. The moment you make yourself overly available or eager to please, you lose that edge. Think about the last time someone offered you something without effort on your part. Did you truly value it? Now, contrast that with the satisfaction of earning something through persistence and effort. The difference is striking, and the same principle applies to relationships, careers, and even self-respect. When you beg, you unintentionally create a power imbalance. This is particularly true in Stoic relationships, where mutual respect is the foundation of a healthy dynamic. Begging for someone's time or attention places you in a submissive position, and people naturally gravitate toward strength, not weakness. The more you chase, the faster they run. It's a harsh reality, but one that can be reversed if you choose to change your approach. So what does this change look like in practice? First, it's about shifting your mindset. Stop thinking of yourself as someone who needs others to complete you. Instead, start seeing yourself as the source of your own worth. When you beg for validation, you hand over control of your self-esteem to someone else. But when you learn to value yourself without external input, you regain your power. This is where Stoicism becomes a game changer. One of its core teachings is to focus only on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and responses. You can't control how others perceive you, but you can control how you present yourself. You can choose to carry yourself with dignity, to speak and act with confidence, and to stop chasing after approval that doesn't serve you. Here's a challenge. The next time you feel the urge to beg, whether it's sending a desperate text, over-apologizing, or seeking unnecessary reassurance, pause. Ask yourself, what am I really trying to achieve? And am I going about it in a way that strengthens or weakens my position? That pause can save you from actions that erode respect and instead guide you toward those that build it. High-value individuals are masters of balance. They give without overgiving, assert themselves without arrogance, and show vulnerability without weakness. Begging has no place in this equation. It's a mindset rooted in scarcity, believing there isn't enough love, opportunity, or success to go around. But when you adopt an abundance mindset, you realize there's plenty available, and you don't need to grasp desperately for it. Another key to eliminating begging from your life is understanding boundaries. Respect flows from clearly defined lines about what you will and won't accept. When you allow people to push past your boundaries, you're silently begging for their approval, even at your own expense. High-value individuals enforce their boundaries unapologetically, and in doing so, they gain the respect of those around them. Take a moment to reflect. Are there areas in your life where you've let boundaries slide? Maybe in a relationship where you've given too much without reciprocity, or at work where you've taken on responsibilities without acknowledgement. It's time to draw those lines clearly. Respect doesn't come from overextending yourself. It comes from knowing your limits and standing by them. The most empowering realization is this: when you stop begging, you become magnetic. People are drawn to those who exude self-worth and independence. It's not about playing games or withholding affection. It's about radiating a quiet confidence that says, "I am enough." If this message resonates with you, take a moment to engage with it. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you're ready to stop begging and start commanding respect. Your engagement helps build a community of individuals committed to growth and self-respect. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for more insights that will elevate your mindset and transform your approach to life. Respect isn't granted, it's earned. And the journey to earning it starts here, with the decision to stop begging and reclaim your power. Are you ready? Let's continue this transformation together. 3. Building emotional strength. Imagine standing in the center of a storm, winds howling, debris flying, chaos all around. Now imagine standing there, unshaken, rooted, and calm. This is the essence of emotional strength, the ability to stay grounded no matter what life throws your way. But emotional strength isn't something we're born with, it's something we build. And the truth is, it's the most critical foundation for breaking free from a life of begging and dependency. Why is emotional strength so vital? Because without it, every test, every rejection, and every moment of uncertainty becomes unbearable. You find yourself reacting emotionally to every situation, chasing after people's approval, or trying to fix things that are beyond your control. Emotional weakness doesn't just lead to begging, it leaves you vulnerable to being manipulated, overlooked, or even discarded. High-value individuals, however, are different. They understand that emotional strength is their armor, their shield against the unpredictability of life. But here's the question. How do you build emotional strength when life constantly tests you? How do you develop resilience in a world that seems determined to pull you down? The answer lies in understanding yourself and shifting your focus inward. The first step in building emotional strength is to stop looking for external validation. Every time you seek someone else's approval, you hand them control over your emotions. Think about it. How often have you felt happy or valued only because someone else acknowledged you? And how quickly did that feeling fade when their attention shifted away? This dependency on external validation is a trap, and breaking free starts with recognizing your intrinsic worth. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for this. It teaches us to focus only on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and perceptions, and to release attachment to what we cannot. When you stop obsessing over others' opinions and start valuing your own judgment, you become emotionally self-sufficient. You learn to derive your sense of worth from who you are, not from how others perceive you. Next, consider your response to adversity. Emotional strength isn't about avoiding pain or discomfort. It's about facing it with courage and grace. Life will challenge you, people will test your patience, relationships will strain, and setbacks will occur. In those moments, you have a choice: react impulsively or respond thoughtfully. Emotional strength lies in choosing the latter. It's about pausing, reflecting, and acting from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Here's an exercise. The next time you feel overwhelmed, take a step back. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? This simple pause can prevent emotional outbursts, desperate actions, or hasty decisions that you might later regret. It's a small habit, but it can profoundly transform how you navigate challenges. Another critical element of emotional strength is learning to embrace solitude. Many people fear being alone because it forces them to confront their thoughts, insecurities, and vulnerabilities. But solitude isn't something to fear, it's a space for growth and self-discovery. When you spend time alone, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. You learn what truly matters to you, what you're capable of, and where you need to grow. Emotional strength also means detachment, not from life, but from outcomes. It's about doing your best and letting go of the rest. In relationships, for example, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. You can love someone without relying on them for your happiness. You can show up fully in your career without being defined by the results. This mindset frees you from the endless cycle of begging for validation, because your value no longer depends on what you receive. It comes from what you give. Take relationships as an example. When someone pulls away or tests your boundaries, do you panic and chase after them? Or do you remain calm, trusting that your worth doesn't hinge on their actions. Emotional strength allows you to respond to such situations with composure. You don't beg, you don't plead, and you don't crumble. Instead, you hold your ground, knowing that your value is constant, regardless of others' behavior. Building emotional strength also requires setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. How often do you let negative thoughts spiral out of control? How often do you dwell on what went wrong or what might go wrong? High-value individuals understand that their mind is their most powerful tool, and they guard it fiercely. They don't entertain thoughts that weaken their resolve or make them doubt their abilities. Instead, they focus on thoughts that empower them, inspire them, and propel them forward. Finally, emotional strength comes from action. It's not enough to think or reflect, you must also do. Take small, consistent steps to confront your fears, challenge your limits, and prove to yourself what you're capable of. Each time you face discomfort and push through it, you become stronger. Each time you take responsibility for your emotions, instead of blaming others, you become more resilient. And here's the ultimate truth. Emotional strength isn't just a tool for personal growth, it's a magnet for respect. When people see that you're unshakable, they're drawn to you. They respect your composure, admire your self-control, and trust your ability to handle life's challenges. In Stoic relationships, this strength is especially valuable. It allows you to navigate conflicts without drama, express your needs without fear, and build connections based on mutual respect rather than dependency. So I leave you with this question. Are you ready to take full ownership of your emotions? Are you ready to stop letting external circumstances dictate your state of mind and start building the kind of inner strength that can weather any storm? The journey isn't easy, but the rewards are life-changing. Emotional strength is your greatest asset. It's time to claim it. 4. Reclaiming power through detachment. Have you ever noticed how the harder you hold on to something, the faster it seems to slip away? Whether it's a relationship, a goal, or someone's approval, clinging tightly often leads to disappointment. This is the paradox of control. The more you try to force it, the less control you actually have. Reclaiming your power starts with letting go, embracing the concept of detachment. It's not about giving up, it's about shifting your focus from what you can't control to what you can. Detachment is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal as a high-value individual. Why? Because it frees you from the constant need to beg, chase, or cling. Instead of anxiously trying to keep things in your grasp, you project confidence and independence. And that shift changes everything, not just how you feel about yourself, but also how others perceive you. Let's take a moment to redefine detachment. It doesn't mean you stop caring. Detachment is not indifference. Instead, it's about releasing your emotional dependence on external outcomes. You can still have goals, desires, and relationships. You can still pursue them passionately. But the key difference is this: you don't tie your self-worth or happiness to the results. In Stoic relationships, this principle is transformative. Have you ever seen someone panic when their partner pulls away, responding with desperate texts or emotional pleas? That desperation pushes people further away because it creates a dynamic of imbalance. The more one person clings, the more the other feels the need to escape. Detachment flips this script. When you stop reacting emotionally and start focusing on your own growth and value, the power dynamic naturally balances or even shifts in your favor. Here's an example to consider. Imagine you're in a situation where someone you care about starts acting distant. Your first instinct might be to chase, to demand answers, to beg for their attention. But what if instead you paused? What if you chose to detach, to give them space while focusing on your own life? This choice signals strength, self-respect, and confidence, qualities that naturally attract people rather than repel them. Detachment isn't just about relationships, it's also critical for personal success. Think about a time when you worked hard toward a goal, only to feel paralyzed by the fear of failure. That fear likely made every step more difficult, draining your energy and focus. Detachment helps you release that fear. You still work toward your goal, but you let go of the need to control every outcome. You trust the process, knowing you've done your best. This mindset not only reduces stress but also improves your performance. Building detachment begins with self-awareness. Start by asking yourself, what am I holding onto too tightly? What outcomes or relationships am I trying to control? Once you identify these areas, challenge yourself to step back. Give space to others, and more importantly, give yourself the mental freedom to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your values, and your journey. One of the most effective ways to practice detachment is through silence and stillness. When faced with a situation where you feel the urge to react emotionally, pause. I don't send that text. Don't make that call. Instead, take a moment to reflect. What's driving your reaction? Is it fear? Insecurity? The need for validation? Recognizing these emotions is the first step to detaching from them. Detachment also teaches you to trust in yourself. You no longer need constant reassurance from others because you've built a strong foundation of self-reliance and emotional strength. This shift is powerful. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves because that security creates a sense of stability and trust. If you're ready to reclaim your power through detachment, remember this: it's a process. You won't master it overnight, and that's okay. What matters is that you start. Begin by letting go of one thing today, an outcome you've been obsessing over, a person you've been clinging to, or a fear that's been holding you back. Each small step strengthens your ability to detach, and over time it becomes second nature. And here's the best part: when you embrace detachment, you become unstoppable. You stop wasting energy on things you can't control and redirect it toward building the life you deserve. The results speak for themselves, not only in how you feel about yourself, but in how others respond to you. If this resonates with you, let us know. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you're ready to start practicing detachment in your life. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to continue your journey toward becoming the high-value individual you're destined to be. Detachment isn't just a tool, it's a way of living that puts you firmly back in control. Let's move forward together. 5. Focusing on personal growth and independence. When was the last time you focused on improving yourself truly, intentionally, and without distraction? In a world that constantly demands your attention, it's easy to lose sight of the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Focusing on personal growth and independence isn't just a nice idea. It's the foundation of a high-value life. It's how you build a life so fulfilling, so complete that you no longer need to chase approval or beg for attention. Personal growth begins with a clear understanding of who you are and where you want to go. Most people drift through life, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. They let others dictate their choices, and as a result, they end up living someone else's version of success. High-value individuals take the opposite approach. They define their own goals, set their own standards, and refuse to settle for anything less than their potential. But how do you cultivate this mindset? Start by asking yourself a simple but powerful question. What would the best version of me look like? Take a moment to visualize this version of yourself. What kind of life are you living? How do you carry yourself? What skills have you mastered? By creating a vivid picture of your ideal self, you give yourself a target to aim for. From there, it's about taking consistent, deliberate action. Personal growth doesn't happen by accident, it requires effort. Identify the areas of your life that need improvement, whether it's your health, career, relationships, or mindset, and commit to making progress every single day. This doesn't mean overhauling your life overnight. It means focusing on small, manageable steps that build momentum over time. For example, if you want to improve your health, start by making one small change to your daily routine, like drinking more water or taking a short walk. If your goal is to advance in your career, commit to learning a new skill or networking with someone in your field. These small actions might seem insignificant at first, but over time they add up to massive transformations. A key aspect of personal growth is embracing challenges. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. When you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you discover strengths you never knew you had. Each challenge you overcome builds resilience, confidence, and independence, qualities that define high-value individuals. This mindset applies to all areas of life, including relationships. In Stoic relationships, independence is critical. When you prioritize your growth, you bring a stronger, more complete version of yourself to the relationship. You're not relying on your partner to fill gaps in your life or provide you with purpose. Instead, you're building a partnership based on mutual respect and admiration, where both individuals thrive independently and together. Independence doesn't mean isolating yourself or refusing help. It means being capable of standing on your own while remaining open to collaboration. High-value individuals strike this balance effortlessly. They're self-sufficient, but they also know how to connect with others in ways that enrich their lives without compromising their autonomy. Personal growth also requires self-discipline. It's easy to get distracted by short-term pleasures or external validation, but true progress comes from staying focused on your long-term goals. This is where Stoicism offers invaluable guidance. By teaching you to prioritize what truly matters and ignore what doesn't, Stoicism helps you maintain clarity and purpose. Take social media, for example. It's a double-edged sword, useful for connecting and learning, but also a breeding ground for comparison and distraction. High-value individuals don't let social media dictate their self-worth or derail their focus. They use it intentionally as a tool for growth, rather than a crutch for validation. As you focus on personal growth, you'll notice an incredible shift in how people respond to you. When you prioritize yourself, others begin to see you as someone worth prioritizing. When you exude confidence and independence, you naturally attract respect and admiration. This is the power of becoming the best version of yourself. It doesn't just change your life, it changes how the world interacts with you. But here's the most important part. Personal growth isn't a destination, it's a journey. There's no finish line, no point where you've made it. The process of growth is ongoing, and that's what makes it so rewarding. Every step forward, every skill you master, every challenge you overcome adds to your sense of fulfillment and purpose. If you're wondering where to begin, start with what you can control. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the right opportunity. Growth happens in the small decisions you make every day, how you spend your time, how you treat yourself, and how you respond to the challenges in front of you. Personal growth and independence are the antidotes to begging, chasing, and seeking validation. When you focus on becoming your best self, you stop needing others to complete you. Instead, you become the kind of person who inspires, attracts, and elevates everyone around you. So what's your next step? What small change can you make today that will bring you closer to the best version of yourself? The answer doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. The journey starts now, and every decision you make brings you closer to the life you deserve. It's time to focus on you, not on what others think or do. The power is already in your hands. Are you ready to use it? 6. Stop begging, start building. Have you ever stopped to think about how much energy you spend begging for attention, for opportunities, for someone to notice your worth? Imagine redirecting all of that energy into building something meaningful. Your skills, your character, your life. The truth is, begging doesn't get you what you want. Building does. When you beg, you focus on what's lacking. You look at others to fill the gaps in your life, hoping they'll provide what you feel you're missing. But begging keeps you trapped in a cycle of dependence and frustration. High-value individuals know this. They don't waste time asking others to hand them opportunities or validation. Instead, they create their own. The first step to transitioning from begging to building is recognizing that you are your greatest resource. Think about it. Every skill you learn, every bit of knowledge you gain, and every challenge you overcome adds to your arsenal. It makes you stronger, more capable, and less reliant on anyone else. This is how you stop being a beggar and start being a builder. Take a moment to reflect on your life. What are the areas where you feel the most dissatisfied? Is it your career, your relationships, or perhaps your confidence? Now ask yourself, have you been waiting for someone else to fix it? Waiting for your boss to notice your hard work, your partner to validate your efforts, or someone to give you a big break? If so, it's time to flip the script. Building begins when you take ownership. It's about saying, this is my life, and I'm responsible for making it what I want it to be. It's not about blaming others or circumstances. It's about realizing that you have the power to change your situation, no matter how difficult it seems. For example, if you feel stuck in your career, stop waiting for someone to promote you or recognize your talent. Start building your skills, network, and reputation. Take on new challenges, learn new technologies, or pursue certifications. When you focus on growth, opportunities naturally start coming your way, not because you begged for them, but because you earned them. The same principle applies to relationships. If you're in a relationship where you constantly seek validation, you're begging. But when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the dynamic changes. You stop needing your partner to fill emotional voids because you've built your own emotional strength. This shift is powerful in Stoic relationships where mutual respect and growth are key. Building also requires patience. Let's face it, begging feels like the faster option. When you beg, you're asking for instant gratification, a quick fix to your problems. But building takes time. It's not about shortcuts, it's about laying a solid foundation that supports you for the long term. And while it may take longer, the results are far more rewarding. Here's a practical way to start building. Identify one area of your life where you feel dependent on others. Maybe it's your financial situation, your social circle, or your self-esteem. Now, set a goal to improve that area independently. If it's finances, start by creating a budget or exploring side hustles. If it's your social circle, work on improving your communication skills or joining groups aligned with your interests. Every step you take builds your confidence and reduces your reliance on external factors. But building isn't just about self-improvement, it's about creating value. High-value individuals understand that the more value they bring to the world, the more they receive in return. This could mean offering your skills to solve problems, sharing your knowledge to help others grow, or simply being a source of inspiration through your actions. When you shift your focus from taking to giving, the dynamic changes. You stop begging for attention and start earning it. One of the most important aspects of building is consistency. It's not enough to take action once and expect results. Growth is a cumulative process, and every small step adds up over time. Think of it like planting seeds. You won't see immediate results, but with patience and effort, those seeds will grow into something remarkable. Building also involves setbacks. You might fail, face rejection, or feel discouraged along the way. But every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. High-value individuals don't see failure as the end. They see it as a stepping stone. They use their failures to refine their approach, improve their skills, and become even more resilient. When you stop begging and start building, something amazing happens. You take control of your life. You stop waiting for others to give you what you need and start creating it for yourself. You become the architect of your success, your happiness, and your future. If this message resonates with you, let us know. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you're ready to stop begging and start building. Your engagement helps us continue to share valuable insights that inspire growth and transformation. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss another opportunity to elevate your mindset and your life. It's time to stop waiting and start creating. The journey won't be easy, but the rewards are worth it. Build a life so strong, so fulfilling, that you never have to beg for anything again. Let's do this together. 7. Setting boundaries and saying no. How often do you find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do? Whether it's agreeing to extra responsibilities at work, meeting the demands of a needy friend, or tolerating behaviors that go against your values, every unnecessary yes chips away at your self-respect. The truth is, without clear boundaries, you're left vulnerable, overcommitted, overwhelmed, and undervalued. High-value individuals know this and master the art of setting boundaries and saying no. Boundaries aren't walls meant to isolate you from the world. Instead, they're like guideposts that show others how to treat you while protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without them, you risk becoming a people pleaser, constantly trying to gain approval by accommodating others at the expense of yourself. This behavior might earn you temporary acceptance, but in the long run, it erodes respect, both from others and from within. Why are boundaries so important? They send a clear message. I value myself, and I expect others to do the same. They define what you will and won't tolerate, ensuring that your needs and priorities aren't sidelined. This is essential in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships. In Stoic relationships, mutual respect is non-negotiable, and boundaries ensure that both partners feel valued and secure. The first step in setting boundaries is knowing your limits. What are your non-negotiables? What behaviors, actions, or demands cross the line for you? Take some time to reflect on situations where you felt uncomfortable or taken advantage of. These moments often reveal where boundaries are needed. For instance, if you're constantly working overtime without recognition, it's a sign that you need to set limits on your availability. Once you've identified your boundaries, the next challenge is communicating them. This can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to saying yes to keep the peace. But remember, setting boundaries isn't about being aggressive or confrontational. It's about being clear and assertive. For example, if a colleague asks you to take on extra work, you might say, "I'd love to help, but I'm already committed to other tasks. I won't be able to take this on right now." This response is firm but respectful, showing that you value your time without devaluing theirs. Saying no is an integral part of boundary setting, and it's one of the hardest skills to master. Many people struggle with the fear of rejection or conflict, worrying that a firm no will damage their relationships. But the reality is, saying no often strengthens relationships. It shows that you're honest and self-respecting, which encourages others to respect you as well. Here's an important distinction. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. In fact, it's one of the most selfless things you can do, because it ensures that you're operating at your best. When you overextend yourself, you can't give your full attention or energy to the things that truly matter. By saying no to what doesn't serve you, you make space for what does. Setting boundaries also helps you avoid resentment. How often have you said yes to something only to feel bitter later because it wasn't what you wanted? This resentment doesn't just hurt you, it can damage your relationships, creating tension and frustration over time. Clear boundaries eliminate this issue by ensuring that your actions align with your values. Boundaries aren't just about protecting your time, they're also about preserving your emotional energy. This is especially important in relationships with people who test your limits. Some individuals may not respect your boundaries initially, pushing back or trying to guilt you into changing your stance. In these cases, consistency is key. Every time you reinforce your boundaries, you teach others that you're serious about them. Of course, setting boundaries doesn't mean being inflexible. High-value individuals know how to adapt when necessary, but they do so from a place of choice, not obligation. For example, you might agree to help a friend in need, even if it's inconvenient, but only because you've assessed the situation and decided it's worth your time and energy. This approach ensures that your actions are intentional rather than reactive. One of the biggest challenges in setting boundaries is overcoming the discomfort that comes with it. Many people worry about being perceived as rude or unkind, but the reality is boundaries aren't about controlling others, they're about taking control of yourself. When you prioritize your well-being, you show others that you respect yourself, and that respect becomes contagious. As you strengthen your boundaries, you'll notice a powerful shift in your life. You'll feel more confident, less stressed, and more in control of your time and energy. People will begin to respect you not just for your boundaries, but for the clarity and self-assurance they represent. The beauty of boundaries is that they're not just protective, they're empowering. They give you the freedom to focus on what truly matters and to build a life that reflects your values and priorities. When you stop saying yes to everything, you open the door to the things that genuinely align with your goals and aspirations. So take a moment to reflect on your current boundaries or lack thereof. Where are you overcommitting? Where are you tolerating behavior that undermines your worth? The answers to these questions hold the key to reclaiming your time, energy, and self-respect. Setting boundaries and saying no isn't about pushing people away. It's about creating space for yourself. It's about ensuring that you're operating from a place of strength, not weakness. And when you master this skill, you'll find that you no longer need to beg for respect or attention. It will come to you naturally. Boundaries aren't just a tool for managing relationships, they're a declaration of self-worth. And there's nothing more powerful than that. 8. The silent advantage of absence. In a world where everyone is constantly connected through texts, calls, social media, and endless notifications, silence has become one of the most undervalued tools of influence. Yet for high-value individuals, the power of absence is unmatched. When you step back, when you're no longer easily available or predictable, you create a vacuum that commands attention. The absence speaks louder than words, making people notice, question, and ultimately value your presence more. Think about it. How often do you make yourself overly available? You respond to texts immediately, you're always the first to initiate conversations, or you constantly check in to stay on someone's radar. While this might seem like a way to maintain connection, it often has the opposite effect. It diminishes your value. Why? Because people don't value what they can always have. When you're always there, you blend into the background. Now consider the opposite. Imagine stepping back, not to play games, but to prioritize yourself and your growth. This is the silent advantage of absence. It forces others to notice your lack of presence, to wonder what changed, and to reevaluate how much they value you. In relationships, absence is transformative. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone pulled back and suddenly they were all you could think about? That's the power of silence at work. When you stop chasing, when you stop being readily available, you shift the dynamic. Instead of being the one begging for attention, you become the one who is missed. This principle is especially effective in Stoic relationships where emotional strength and independence are key. When you prioritize your own growth and stop seeking constant validation, your partner begins to see you differently. Your absence creates a space for them to reflect on your value, and often it reignites their interest. But the silent advantage of absence isn't limited to romantic relationships. It applies to every area of life. In your career, for example, being less available can increase your perceived value. If you're always saying yes to extra work or constantly volunteering for tasks, people may start taking you for granted. But when you strategically say no or step back, you create scarcity, and scarcity increases demand. The key to leveraging the power of absence lies in intention. Absence isn't about ghosting people or being aloof for the sake of it. It's about creating space for yourself, your priorities, and your growth. It's about showing others that your time and attention are valuable, not something to be given freely without thought. Here's a practical example. If someone starts pulling away from you, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a colleague, resist the urge to chase after them. Instead, step back. Focus on yourself. Use the time to build your skills, pursue your passions, and strengthen your independence. Your absence will speak volumes, often louder than anything you could say or do to get their attention. Silence and absence also create mystery, which is an incredibly powerful tool. People are naturally curious about what they don't know. When you stop sharing every detail of your life or responding immediately to every message, you become intriguing. Others begin to wonder what you're up to, why you've pulled back, and whether they've underestimated your value. In today's hyper-connected world, silence is a form of rebellion. It sets you apart from the noise and chaos of constant communication. It makes people stop and pay attention because silence is rare. This is why high-value individuals master the art of absence. They know that being unavailable is often more impactful than being present. But absence isn't just about influence, it's also about personal growth. When you step away from constant connection, you create time for yourself. You can reflect, recharge, and refocus on what truly matters. This is where Stoicism comes into play. By embracing stillness and prioritizing inner peace, you gain clarity and strength. You learn to value your own company, and in doing so, you become less reliant on others for validation or fulfillment. The silent advantage of absence also teaches patience. It can be tempting to fill every quiet moment with action or communication, but true power comes from restraint. When you allow silence to do the work for you, you build anticipation and curiosity in others. You let them come to you rather than chasing after them. So how can you start using absence in your life? Begin by identifying where you've been overly available. Is it in a relationship where you're always the first to initiate contact? Is it at work where you never say no? Or is it on social media where you constantly share updates about your life? Once you've identified these areas, challenge yourself to step back. Be deliberate with your time and attention, and watch how others respond. The results might surprise you. When you embrace the silent advantage of absence, you'll find that people begin to value you more, not because you demanded it, but because you created space for them to realize it on their own. This is the essence of high-value living, commanding respect and attention without begging for it. If you're ready to embrace the power of silence and absence, let us know. Like this video and comment number 1 below if this message resonates with you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on mastering your mindset, relationships, and personal growth. Silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's a declaration of self-worth. Use it wisely and watch how your life transforms. Let's keep building together. You've made it to the end of this journey. A path that's not just about avoiding the habit of begging, but about transforming yourself into a high-value individual who commands respect, admiration, and success without ever needing to plead for it. Along the way, we've uncovered the power of self-reliance, emotional strength, detachment, personal growth, boundaries, and the silent advantage of absence. Each principle serves as a building block for creating a life that isn't dependent on others' approval, but grounded in your own purpose and potential. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue the patterns that have left you feeling unfulfilled, or will you take control of your life and start building something extraordinary? The choice is yours, and it's one that only you can make. Remember, this journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. High-value individuals aren't born, they're made through consistent effort, self-reflection, and the courage to break free from old habits. You don't need anyone else's permission to start. Your life, your growth, and your success are entirely within your control. But think about how far you can go when you stop chasing and start creating. Imagine the respect you'll command when you prioritize your own development and establish boundaries that reflect your worth. Picture the relationships you'll build when you show up as a whole, independent person who doesn't beg for love, but shares it generously from a place of strength. And here's the most important takeaway. You are already enough. Everything you need to succeed, to grow, and to thrive is within you. The process of becoming high value isn't about adding something you're missing. It's about uncovering the power that's been there all along. If this message resonates with you, make today the day you take the first step. Start small. Focus on one principle, whether it's detachment, saying no, or embracing silence, and apply it consistently. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but with time and effort, the transformation will be undeniable. Finally, if you found value in this journey, let others know. Like this video, comment number 1 below, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to continue exploring insights that will elevate your mindset, relationships, and life. Thank you for being here, for investing in yourself, and for taking steps toward becoming the person you're meant to be. Remember, you're not just building a life, you're building a legacy. Keep going and never forget, you are the architect of your destiny. Here's to your growth, strength, and success. Until next time.